Opening. The giant takes flight. On a hot summer day in 1946, a giant waits silently on the runway. Is it named? This is a Convair B-36 Peacemaker. Its wingspan is nearly 70 meters, and its takeoff weight is exactly 180 tons. It is equipped with 6 piston engines and supported by 4 jet engines. Pilots found a nickname for this giant: 6 turning and 4 burning. Every takeoff a risk, every takeoff a gamble. For those who saw it for the first time, it was an almost mesmerizing machine, but deep inside it hid a great danger. This aircraft cannot be described as merely an engineering marvel, it was also a test machine, a demonstration of courage. Chapter 1. A Cold War Solution. World War II was almost considered over, yet the world was unaware of the new danger. The United States felt compelled to create a response to the growing pressure of the Soviets. The bombers that had been produced were insufficient in terms of range. There was a new objective, a strategic, long-range bomber. And this is how the B-36 project was born. Extended range, the capacity to strike distant targets with ease. A pressurized cabin to operate at high altitude. And the ability to carry nuclear equipment and weapons. But there was a very serious problem. For this giant, the combination of 6 piston engines and 4 jets required more than just a dream. Chapter 2. Engineering Ambition. Engineers designed a monster that would push even the limits of humanity. 6 massive piston engines and 4 jet engines for additional power. But this complexity was a sign of future disaster. The engines could overheat to an incredible degree. The piston and jet engines could hardly operate simultaneously. The maintenance and testing of this giant could take weeks. Every takeoff carried a risk, and every flight turned into thousands of question marks. Pilots often thought about this beast: no one can truly control the power of this aircraft. Chapter 3. 6 turning and 4 burning. The nickname was certainly not a joke. 6 engines were turning, and 4 jets were practically burning. Each engine reacted differently, the slightest mistake in one could endanger the entire aircraft. During takeoff, pilots had to think about the machine beneath them before even thinking about the enemy. Of course, many setbacks occurred during the first test flights. Strange malfunctions appeared in the engines. Different complications were seen in the hydraulic and fuel systems. If one of the piston engines caught fire, balance had to be maintained with the jet engines. Every test flight became a lesson in engineering and, for the pilots, a test of courage. Chapter 4. Human Stories. But the B-36 should not be described as just a mechanical giant. Behind it stood an army of engineers, technicians, and pilots. Successful flights were, of course, the result of teamwork. Every malfunction could lead to consequences that played with the lives of hundreds of people. Test pilots risked their lives on every flight. Maintenance crews knew the limits the engines could reach and worked on them every single day. The aircraft itself was like a teacher, striving to show the people around it the limits of engineering and courage. Chapter 5. Strategic Impact. Of course, the B-36 was not merely an engineering challenge, it had become a symbol of the Cold War. Its ability to carry bombs to distant targets gave the U.S. Army a major strategic advantage. The fear of nuclear power, and its massive range. Once the enemy saw the B-36 in the sky, the threat was already felt. But unfortunately, there were also hard truths. Sometimes the greatest threat could be yourself, not the enemy. 6 giant engines, 4 incredible jets, enormous weight, and of course the human factor. When combined, they formed a very dangerous mixture. Chapter 6. Lessons and Legacy. Over time, engineers began to solve the various problems found in the B-36. Confidence in the engines increased, and flights became more stable. Today, however, we remember this giant not just as an aircraft, but as a symbol of ambition-driven technology and engineering courage. There is always a cost to pushing technology to its limits. Human factors and planning mistakes carried critical importance. The B-36 became almost a monument showing how far the limits of engineering and human courage could go. And today, 6 turning and 4 burning no longer flies, but its remarkable story tells us this. The greatest achievements always begin with risk and courage.